is our history. Buildings and people and memories and dreams. Who better to tell us than those who were there? There's so much to learn from the stories they'll share.
Living history. Living history.
Hello and welcome to Living History with Ted Goldsborough, and today Patrick McCabe. And Pat's been with us before, and I love talking to Pat. We have such a good time remembering Bala Cynwyd and being a Roman Catholic, going to St. Matthias Church and the Von Trapp family. And today we're going to find out a little bit more about Pat's childhood memories, and then we're going to move over to when Pat got married and his taking over the family business on Rock Hill Road with his brothers. So it wasn't that Pat alone did it, but he did it in the McCabe family. So welcome, Pat.
Thank you, Ted. Nice to be back with you again.
Thank you.
Yes.
There's a building here.
Yeah, we're looking at the old Bala Cynwyd Post Office, which was another one of my haunts as a working teenage kid in Bala Cynwyd. And I was fortunate enough a couple of years to be employed as a Christmas time letter carrier, and was a government employee for a week or 10 days at a time for a couple of years. That was after my paper route, my movie theater, my water boy, all of those jobs, and I really enjoyed those times prior to full employment.
When you were a kid down on Rock Hill Road, did you sometimes go out and get some?
Oh yeah, this was a picture of the old Glen Willow Ice Company, which was located at the corner of Bellman Avenue and River Road, which, if you go there today, is no more. The expressway interchange at Bellman Avenue has taken over this entire property. But there was a little store in the middle of that block of stores by the name of Jim's Variety Store, where I used to go for ice cream cones and Dixie cups and different things like that as a kid. And this was a fascinating little enterprise. It was the days of ice as a commodity in the area. The ice boxes, this is pre-refrigeration. And of course, it fell on hard times and disappeared from our landscape many, many years ago. This picture was from 1931.
This is near the Reading Railroad?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Now, you went into the service after high school. Where'd you go to high school?
After college.
After college?
Yeah.
Oh, we got some catching up to do.
I went to St. Joe's Prep, got out of there in 1952, went to Villanova, 1956 out of Villanova, then Officer Candidate School in Newport, Rhode Island for 16 weeks. I guess it was 16 weeks. My first duty station was I was attached to a ship that was home ported in Yokosuka, Japan, the USS Jupiter. And today I still have reunions with sailors from that group. I go to an annual reunion someplace in the country. And a year and a half later, I'm back in the U.S., stationed at a desk job in Norfolk, Virginia. So my 3-year career was over, and came back to this area seeking employment, and ended up back in the family business as an adult. And my dad and brothers were kind of, several of them had passed away, and my brothers and I started to formulate a new corporation, which was called Rock Hill Quarry and Supply Company, which many people know today for the last 40 years as the supply business that was on Rock Hill Road.
Now, before we get to that, you met somebody down at the shore, I
yes,
think.
You did. I did.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Who was that person?
Her name was Joan Marie Slaughter. She became my wife of close to 40 years. We met on the beach in Margate. That's the published story of our meeting. and it was love at second sight.
Tell about that quarter. Didn't you borrow a quarter?
I borrowed 25 cents from her, and went. This was the days when you could buy 7 beers for $1 at the White House in Margate, and I bought 2 beers, and brought them over to the table. And she and a friend of hers were there, and I offered the 2 beers. And she gave me the quarter to buy, and I ended up marrying one of the girls. Yeah.
But you weren't too sure at first, were you?
No.
And then she was kind enough. She sent you a letter or something.
Yeah, she sent me a postcard on my birthday, and all the postcard said was, "Long time no see, Joan."
Yeah.
And I responded. I called her. It was like, and then we started going together, and that was.
So that postcard did the trick.
It did the trick. Well, a 2-cent postcard at the time. That's a picture of Joan on our wedding day after the reception outside of the family home, my family home. And this is myself, my bride, and my mother. My dad was infirmed. He wasn't passed away by that time, but he could not attend the wedding because he was in bed with rheumatoid arthritis.
What year was this?
1962. September 1st, 1962.
Wow.
We're coming up in a couple days on my 50th wedding anniversary, September 1st, 1962 to September 1st, 2012. Yeah.
Now, you lived for a short time in an apartment over in Roxborough, but then...
Yeah, just a year. And this was our first permanent home together.
Okay, where was this?
This was 535 Loch Glen Drive.
Coincidence, Rock Hill,
yeah, Rock Hill, Rock Glen, just purely a coincidence.
The rocks, right?
You can't get away from the rocks.
Right. And how long did you live it?
For 10 years.
10 years.
10 years,
okay.
Yep.
And during those 10 years, you got involved in some of the local...
Yeah, we did. That's pictures of my oldest son at the Labor Day. I think it's the Labor Day Parade that was an annual event in Wynwood Valley, put on by the Wynwood Valley Civic Association. They I belonged to the Civic Association, and eventually for a couple of years was president of that group.
Is that park off Remington Road? Is that?
That park is where we had our annual event. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think they had tennis courts.
But the parade was through the streets of Wynwood Valley.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're married. You have a couple kids.
Yep.
And you and some of your brothers.
We're operating for from 1965 to 2005. This business, Rock Hill Supply Company, selling masonry building supplies, stone, landscaping materials to the trades, to the masonry trades, and also to a very large number of local homeowners.
Including me.
Including you.
Yeah, you even delivered cement to me.
Yeah.
I was doing some sidewalks.
Yeah, it was a great time to be in business.
Now,
these are shots of an addition that we put on to the building in the 1980s. It was a combination of some office space and additional warehouse and mechanical space that we.
Now, who was working with you at this time?
Well, our corporation consisted of myself and my 2 brothers.
Named?
Brother John McCabe, and Thomas McCabe. We were lifelong partners in business. Originally, my sister was in business with us for a couple of years, but she got married and stepped aside.
Okay.
And we continued until 2005.
Later, didn't a son of yours come in, Marty?
Yes, my son Marty, after college and working for another company for a little while, decided he wanted to get into this kind of work. So he became an employee, and after a year or so on the job, he became our top employee. He kind of, as myself and my brothers got older, he took on an awful lot of responsibilities and was doing the work of 2 or 3 men around the place. Yeah.
In any business like this, you had a lot of equipment, and there's some pieces. What do you call these things?
Well, they're front-end loaders and concrete trucks and various things, and the maintenance of these fell on my brother John, who was our, he kept the place together as far as maintenance of trucks, equipment, real estate, everything. With his multi-talented, he could do electrical work, mechanical work, plumbing work, all this kind of thing. And
now you had to me, a unique concrete cement business.
Yeah,
Could you
did.
tell about that?
We had for probably 20-some years, we had a integral part of our business was delivering a product called ready-mix concrete. It was a novel way of doing it and not having the barrel trucks to produce it, but the producing plant was this particular vehicle that, I'm not going to get into all the detail of it, but the pictures you see is of a cement silo, bulk cement silo, which is one of the ingredients for the concrete we produced. The other ingredients are piled there, stone on one side, sand on the other, and they're all put into this truck, and the truck goes to the job and produces the concrete right in the truck on the job.
So you're not wasting.
Not wasting anything.
That was great.
Yeah.
There's a nice Mack truck there. I like trucks.
That's the picture of one of the forerunners of the 3 trucks that we had at one time. And they're just shots of various parts of our operation. Building materials.
I wanted to say that as a person who drove past, your lot always seems so nicely organized and neat and clean. And
Thank you,
that
Ted,
was one of the brothers?
Thank you for the compliment, and I'll accept it and pass it on to my brother Tom.
Okay.
Who was our outside guy that kept everything neat in a row and had a discipline about that showed, insofar as having the employees sometimes sweep the warehouse floor, sometimes more often than they thought was necessary.
Yeah, but it did look nice.
It was spick and span, and it added a lot to the...
So you're married, you're in business with your brothers and your son, and at home, meanwhile.
And sometimes I would portray Santa Claus every once in a while, until my daughter realized that they were Daddy's hands, so Santa Claus was
a similarity
unmasked.
Between you and Santa.
Yes.
And
there's a home style. This is my daughter Courtney with her only pet she ever had was Sugar the rabbit. It was a trained, I don't know what the species was, but it was a domesticated, very domesticated rabbit. Would lay down and go to sleep in your lap. Fascinating.
And this is your mother. Now, she stayed in the house.
That's my mother visiting us in her later years, and she stayed in her house in Bala Cynwyd, as I said, until 10 days before her demise in 1989.
Pat, we got to take a break here. I forgot we were talking, having such a good time. We got to take a break. We'll be back.